What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees. I'm a wife, a mom, a military veteran, a certified personal trainer, and I spent 13 years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps. Listen, I'm going to need you guys to grab your favorite flavor of Dr. Pepper. Mine, you already know what it is, because today we're going to be reacting to Coach Rob DeBoer's May 13th live stream titled The Truth About Ketones. And guys, this video is, in my opinion, less about truth and more strategic rebranding. Not a compliment, Rob, because I know you're going to watch this. Affiliate commissions and calculated amnesia. We're going to talk about the manipulation, the MLMT, always, especially when it comes to Pruvit, self-promotion that is, in my opinion, being disguised as honesty, and the wild pivot Rob makes, all while pretending he didn't spend a decade hyping Pruvit to anyone with a credit card. Let's get into it.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Coach Rob DeBoer, and welcome to the Radway page. Gosh, over the years, this might have been the body comp coaching page, but since then, my wife, Danielle, and I have started a coaching brand where we coach online, virtually, in person. What's up, Robert? How are you? Y'all, by the way, say hello as you pop on, where you might be tuning in from. I don't expect a large audience because I'm doing this on a Radway page. But there was a lot of people that reached out to me when they saw the topic, the truth about ketones. I think they know my past, where I was deeply embedded in the ketone conversation over the past decade. And so people reached out and was like, where can I watch it live? And what if we're not Facebook friends? And I think even on my main page, it's public. My Coach Rob DeBoer page is public. But nevertheless, we thought we'd go live here. Radway stands for Rob and Danielle DeBoer's way of doing things. And so we've been doing a lot of things the same way for a long time, whether it's coaching, eating, cold plunging, the recipes we make, the workouts we do. And so we thought, you know what, let's start a coaching concept, and we called it Radway. My wife, Danielle, is attributed to this concept of whole wellness, where it was inside, what we put inside our body, and that's why I think talking about ketones is so important. The outside aspects, cold plunging and grounding and vitamin D and strength training, and she does what's called flex and flow, which is like her version of yoga. And then another one that I think sets us apart is we do what we call is adult agility. Hey, Natalie, great to see you. Kim, how are you? We call it adult agility, and it's a lot of what I would do with athletes throughout the years to make people more agile, quicker, more coordinated. But now we do it as part of our coaching business, and it's been very well received. So all of that to say, we're here on the Radway page. Stay tuned, like our page. We'd be grateful if you did. But let's dive in.
Yes, let's do that. Let's dive in. So, Rob, you mean to tell me, I just want to make sure I'm getting this straight. After a decade of promoting overpriced MLM ketones, suddenly you're about whole body wellness and quoting, I don't even want to mention it. We'll get there in just a second. I do feel like I need to give a content warning at this point because he is going to be assigning moral value to food. So please just prepare yourself for that. I'm going to skip my commentary on that until he says it. Are you telling us, or are you showing us that you're just basically rebranding your personality and your ethics? Because that's what it seems like here. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think.
You know, I was looking at this. I had just made this for our Radway community. So we do private coaching. You go to radway.com. But this is our Radway treadmill time cheat sheet. And I was looking, what we do for our members is we create proper context when it comes to calorie consumption. And so I always tell people, hey, you can have that, but you realize that's 10 minutes in treadmill time. And they're like, what do you mean? So I kind of made this cheat sheet, and we call it Radway treadmill time. And for example, if you eat an Oreo cookie, that Oreo accounts for about 10 minutes on a treadmill for the average person walking at 3 miles per hour. And so, I was putting this together and I thought, it's so interesting because I haven't talked specifically about ketones because I haven't been selling them. Like that has
Okay. Let's talk about this Oreo situation because I do want to address this because this is where for me it stops being like lighthearted, MLM debunking, and in my opinion starts to become dangerous. Rob is literally out here telling everybody that eating one Oreo is 10 minutes on a treadmill for the average person walking at 3 miles an hour. This is the kind of rhetoric that doesn't teach balance. It teaches shame. It teaches guilt. This is what feeds into disordered eating and the toxic earn your food mentality that destroys people's relationships with their bodies. When you tie food to punishment, exercise stops being about health and starts being about guilt. This is not wellness. That's a calorie penance calculator. And it's deeply irresponsible coming from someone with a massive platform and a history of manipulating health narratives for profit.
hasn't been part of what I do for a living. We've transitioned into coaching all aspects of creating better body composition in people. And it's it brings joy back to me because I can talk about something that I've been passionate about for the last year, 10 years, last decade, truly. Helped launch a company, became kind of the darling baby in the ketone space. So grateful because that company is where I ultimately met my wife, the person that I'm destined to be with and meant to be with. I think those of you that have seen us together just know it's like, it just works. And so we're grateful for that. We have since moved on from that company. I did a video where, just long story short, we kind of outgrew what our purpose was there. We weren't equally yoked, if you will. So we moved on, and again, we focus on this coaching. But we really love the product, drinkable ketones. And so, when you're used to doing something for a year and you're passionately speaking and coaching and training and educating on a topic, it's awesome to be able to come back to that topic that like the back of your hand, especially when you believe in something. And so the reason I wanted to go live is this, and it's the same reason I was very passionate about ketones, drinkable ketones, the ketogenic diet, the ketone conversation, was simply because there was so much misinformation. I remember back, I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years ago, we demonized carbs. High fat was good. Carbs were bad. And I started an entire community called Ketones with Carbs, like an entire Facebook page. As a matter of fact, it's probably still active. I should have jumped in there because this is very relevant conversation. All of that to say, very passionate, very well researched, studied on the science behind drinkable ketones, what they do, what they don't do, the claims that are made, all of the misinformation, misrepresentation out in the marketplace. And the story comes full circle because my wife and I, we're no longer supporting this company, and we were running out of our ketone product. Ironically, at the same time, for years I'd been promoting a protein through this company. I just believe protein is a priority, and protein powder's not perfect, but it's very practical for people. And I was passionate about coaching people, and this company didn't want us to promote protein. And so when I ended up separating myself from that company, I ended up here in Canada. Again, like I say, there are so many silver linings to this story. Although I spent, better part of a decade representing this company, their product, the science, and the research, and then parting ways, I did meet my wife. She did live in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, Canada. We were 20 years apart in age, but it just was this perfect kind of marriage, and here we are. The reason it makes sense is because we were looking for a protein powder because moving to Canada, I couldn't get something that I'd been using for the past decade. I'm an affiliate for a few companies, which we don't care what protein you use. We don't care what ketones you use. But people seem to lean in and listen to what we have to say because we just don't pull the punch. We've always been honest and open with the keto conversation and the ketone conversation. You know, would you believe people go as far as saying, hey, drink this and it'll put you in fat burning mode? Well, that's just not how it works. By the way,
There's so much that I want to say. I'm just trying to let him get through his spiel here so that I can unpack it, but I'm having a very difficult time doing that. You've always been honest, Rob. Okay.
newsflash, there's no such thing as a fat burner. You can't consume one. There's no powder, lotion, potion, pill. You have to become one. And that's what we do. We coach people how to become more energy expensive, how to lose fat, keep and create muscle, and age well as they go through life. Feel, look, perform good as they go. That's what we do. However, we believe there are certain tools out there that can be beneficial. One of the things I always said was ketones create compliance with my
Compliance. That's an interesting word. I don't know that I've ever really seen an ethical, in my opinion, coach use that term when talking about compliance. Rob says ketones made people better at following his instructions. That's not empowerment, that's dependency dressed up as discipline. Let's call this what it is: selling a supplement that makes people feel like they can't function without it. That's not coaching, that's called control. This is how you cultivate disordered behavior. Label certain products as compliance tools. Frame food as something you can earn. I absolutely hate that. And if people struggle, just hand them your affiliate link with a smile. Oh my God.
great to tell people how to eat, but reinforcing and enforcing the way we tell them to eat isn't quite as easy, but ketones created compliance. It made people better at making decisions I were asking them to make, if that
Oh my God. I also want to double back just really quickly and talk about this equally yoked comment. Now, I have reacted already to his video that he mentions that. I'll link that in the video description as well. And I want to reference him saying that they outgrew Pruvit. I find it interesting that he's not willing to say the name of the company, but okay. Let me translate. Pruvit got acquired, the commissions tanked, and now you're scrambling for a new income stream, right, Rob? I mean, that's what this is, right? Don't insult people's intelligence by pretending it was a values shift. Where's the accountability for the 10 years you spent promoting this product like it was liquid gold? You don't get to suddenly rebrand as a wellness rebel just because the compensation plan dried up, just because the company was bought out. That's wild. And that's the thing, the lack of accountability. The lack of accountability from him, the lack of accountability from other people that have come at me on my channel in the comments. Kendra, I'm talking to you. The lack of accountability is what is wild to me.
makes sense. I was telling them to eat certain ways, and when they used ketones, it helped them create greater compliance. So that was like a little hashtag that I used for so long. Ketones create compliance. Well, fast forward the story. I move here, meet the person, woman of my dreams. We get married. We're running out of ketones. I'm looking for a protein powder. I'm coming out of this little fitness center. Yo, remember, this is Corner Brook, Newfoundland, Canada. Like, there's not a lot of restaurants. There's not a lot to do. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. People are incredibly friendly. I mean, it's just beautiful. Like, it is amazing. Every day you can find a postcard picture within 100 steps outside your door. As a matter of fact, I was driving home yesterday. If you saw my stories, pulled out my phone, there was a moose running at my, like a size of a Clydesdale horse moose running at my SUV, and it ran right in front. I took a picture and I was like, yeah, just another day in the neighborhood. In other words, it's this little remote area. And the reason this story is so great is because we were running out of ketones. I was looking for a protein that we could share with our Canadian clients, because the one I had always shared, there were duty fees, and then with all of the tariffs and who knows, this company Redcon shut down their Canadian website.
I do like Redcon's MRE Lite. I think that's what he's going to talk about here. in a few minutes. I do like that. That protein is really good. I also like, and this is just me suggesting, there's no affiliate code or anything like that, especially because supplements, and I'm a personal trainer and I can't suggest supplements and make an income off of it, an affiliate link. So you won't catch me doing that. That won't happen. But I like MRE Light. I like the Matrix brand I think you can get it off of Amazon. The peanut butter cookie one is really good. If you're looking for a protein powder, highly suggest those two. MRE Light, you can get it in any local supplement store. Unless you're in Canada, I guess you can't get it. Sorry, Canadians.
And so we were looking for a protein. Would you believe when I moved here, there wasn't even a supplement store. Like you had to buy your supplements at maybe Walmart or maybe Shoppers is like a Walgreens. They were really expensive. Well, since moving here, a Supplement King opened. That would be the Canadian version of Vitamin Shop or GNC. Well, like any any new business in town, they would do booths. Well, one day I'm walking out of the gym, this little gym that we work out at, and they've got a table set up. And there's a company called ANS Performance. Had no idea until yesterday what ANS even stood for. But the story gets really good, and here's why. James, big power lifter here in town, great guy. He's, and it's a small town, and I didn't really blend in very well. Like, oh, that's the American guy, that Canadian girl's dating that moved here from Kentucky. So I'm pretty good with relationships and people, and I met a bunch of people, and so I became friends with James, and James is one of the first people I ever cold plunged with. Well, now he's working at Supplement King, and he's sitting outside and with this little table, and like handing out samples of protein and shakes and energy drinks and stuff like you would imagine at a trade show booth.
Does he really think he's a good storyteller? What do y'all think? Do you think he thinks he's a good storyteller? I'm just curious.
So he tells me about this ANS protein powder. And I was like, gosh, I'm looking for a protein powder. Do they do affiliates? And he's like, I have no idea, but it's a really good protein. Here, have a sample. Here, it's one of the more cleaner, easier on the belly proteins. And that's why we liked the MRE Light from Redcon. Still do, love it. Just can't readily, easily get it here in Canada. And we couldn't share it with people. So we wanted to find something we could share. Long story short, I loved the ANS Performance is the name of the company. ANS stands for Applied Nutraceutical Science. So ANS Performance had this shake called NISO. Awesome.
You guys probably can guess why I'm already rolling my eyes when we're talking about a supplement company. Now, this company is talking about is not a multi-level marketing company, but if I'm rolling my eyes and we're talking about a supplement company, it's probably because the label is not as transparent as I would like it to be, just in my opinion. Not as transparent as they claim to be.
So I go on and I realize, hey, they do have kind of a influencer model. It's just a traditional brand that you would find like you would in a vitamin shop. As a matter of fact, the cool thing about ANS is it's manufactured both in the US and Canada. So there weren't any shipping deals or issues or obstacles. So it was like the perfect marriage. Like, okay, I've been promoting one protein, but I can only promote it to people in the US. Now I've got a protein made in Canada that I can get in Canada, but it's also made in the US that people can get in the US. So we started promoting this product called NISO. Interestingly enough, became an affiliate. We're running out of ketones at the time, and ketones, we just believed they created compliance, helped control appetite, cravings, kind of turned the brain on. I mean, I drank them literally every day, many days, twice a day for the last decade. Like since the ketone conversation was initially created. What it would have been maybe 2015, if I remember right. By the way, I actually named that company. Like that's how embedded I was with that company. It was my formal apparel company called Pruvit. And long story short, I'm looking through the ANS website. Would you know they've got a ketone product called Keto Vita? As a matter of fact, I've got it right here. No, they didn't have the flavor profiles. Like they had 3 flavors and they scaled back to 2 flavors. And Ketones is just like, Pruvit captured the market. Like they're just, they just captured the market. They did a really good job. And I would like to say I played a role in educating hundreds of thousands of people. I would say hundreds of thousands of people watched my education on the consumption of drinkable ketones. And
Education. We're going to talk about all of that here shortly.
I loved it. I was just passionate about it because I believed in it. And for those of you that tune in that know me, like if I believe it, I'll preach it, teach it, and that settles it. Like if I don't, you won't hear me talk about it. You won't really hear me promote it. So I said, Danielle, we should order some. Like we're running out anyways. Well, they had one flavor called pink lemonade. Well, the other company that we were using, where we were running out, where we weren't going to reorder from, wonder if these are any good. Like we always sold against every other brand. We were educated, why is this product different than every other brand? And, they used analogies that made sense. But, man, I went deep. Like, I studied all the stuff that people didn't study. I researched the stuff that people didn't research. And after about the first year, I just quit debating with people. Hey, if it works for you, awesome. Here's why ours works best. Here's why ours works best. And I just kind of stopped experimenting with other products. Long story short, I was loyal to this company, I was loyal to this product, and it's what I drank until I didn't. So now I had to find another product, but it was probably a product that I would have sold against and easily could have based on what I thought I knew at the time. Well, because they had this flavor pink lemonade, it tasted almost identical to one of the flavors that we had. It was called raspberry lemonade, and it was called Keto Nat, and we tasted it. And so I kind of did this, my own personal, blind study, if you will, because they tasted the same. So I wanted to see, like, does this $8 product taste the same as this $2 product? And does this $8 product make me feel different than this $2 product? And I wouldn't want to know, like, I want to remove kind of the name. So I would mix one up, not knowing which one it was, drink that, and here's the conclusion. If I didn't drink ketones, period, I knew. Ketones clearly did something for me. If I drank if I drink the expensive brand, I felt a certain way. And if I drank the less expensive brand, I felt a certain way. So the question was, did you feel differently based on which one you drank? And the answer was no. And we tried to repeat this and duplicate this. The problem was they only had one flavor. And so it was like, well, gosh, if I'm paying X, 8X versus 2X, we might have found an incredible product and we're going to save a bunch of money.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, this man said he ran a blind taste test to decide which ketones were better. That's not science, that's a vibe check with a shaker bottle. You pushed clinical grade exogenous ketones for a decade, and now you're saying the off-brand pink lemonade version works just as well based on how it made you feel that day. Respectfully or disrespectfully, if your science can be undone by a $2 sample and a mood swing, it was never science to begin with. And let's talk about this educating hundreds of thousands of people. Cool. Did you also educate them that the $130 drink wasn't actually putting them into fat burning mode, or that the 60-hour reboot, aka fast, was literally a number you made up because it sounded good in marketing? You didn't just drink the flavor aid, you helped brand it, sell it, and disguise it as metabolic science. Absolutely deceptive.
And so we thought, you know what? Why don't we become an affiliate and share this with a few people that trust us enough? Would you believe we share this? People have the same experience. Gosh, that's great. Flavors are awesome. I wish they had more flavors. They only have 2, but the story gets better. They only had 2, and people had the same experience we did. gosh, I can't tell the difference between the expensive brand or the less expensive brand, but I can tell a difference versus having it and not having it. And that's where I was sold. That's where I was sold. Like I was sold, and someone asked me the question, but we always sold against, one of my friends, Mandy Mitchell, asked me, she's like, but we kind of were always told, and you, even Rob, you might have said it, and you heard the scientists say it, that, all these reasons why. And I just said, I just stopped paying attention after about the first year. So for the past 7, 8 years, there was a measurable difference when I would drink this product. Well,
did y'all hear that? I just want to pause this and bring attention to what he just said. After all of those years he was in Pruvit, attending the events, he said he tuned out from the scientific evidence at the Pruvit events, which I can tell you firsthand, based off of my experience. I probably have notes somewhere on this. The scientists and the doctors that Pruvit brings in, they are giving information on nutritional ketosis. They are not bringing information on Pruvit's ketones and studies done on Pruvit ketones. I just find it really interesting that he just said, after about the first year of, listening to that, I just kind of tuned it out. That sounds legit, right? Wow.
It was just comparing this product versus this product. Was there a measurable difference with or without? Yes. The second question was there a measurable difference between the two? No. Well, that's good news for me because I wasn't going to reorder from this company. I found a product that's, a fraction of the cost that is equally as effective for me. I wonder if it's equally as effective for others. And that's where the story begins. We started sharing it with people, just as an affiliate. I mean, we make $2, $3 if someone buys it. So we're not doing this to get rich. We're not doing this because there's some agenda. We're not building a team. It's not a network marketing company. It's not a multi-level marketing company. It's just, it's like everything in the social media influencer world. It's like posting an Amazon link to a waffle iron. If someone buys it, someone can get a commission because they told you to buy that waffle iron. We don't actually even do that. So we started sharing it and people are like, wow, this is really good. The taste is really good. Oh my gosh, I can't really tell a difference either. So we started sharing it and we sold the company out of product.
I don't think there's anything wrong with an affiliate link. I'm actually glad that he's not participating in an MLM. And the rest of the story that we're going to get to here shortly is kind of ironic, but I can appreciate that this is an affiliate link and not a multi-level marketing company. But this is where the MLM to influencer pivot kind of has hit full throttle. The problem that I have with this is that he's still using the same emotional dependencies, things like brain fog, cravings, discipline, struggles. But now instead of a team, you've got an affiliate dashboard. So it's the same manipulation, it feels like to me. Position the audience as broken, offer a product as the solution, and pretend the pitch is just sharing. Also, the last I checked, your new wife, Danielle, is in an MLM called Bella Grace. So the anti-MLM sentiment only applies when your check stops clearing. Got it.
I get a call from Nick, one of the owners of ANS Performance. He doesn't know Coach Rob DeBoer. He's just looking at my back office.
Why are you talking like that? He doesn't. Why are you talking?
Office dashboard. I'm guessing they weren't selling any ketones because it was not a big conversation here 10 years after it was the conversation where everybody came out with them.
The ego of this guy. They weren't selling a product until you came along, Rob. They were selling exactly 0 products until you came around. Oh.
And he's like, we had a conversation and I just told him my story, my backstory. I said, I'm telling the owner of this company, ANS Performance, that I met simply walking out of our gym because I met my friend James that was sitting at a Supplement King table because we were looking for protein. They happened to have a ketone product. I tell him this whole story. He's like, well, you sold us out. And I was like, I know. The problem is I'm running out. He's like, well, the good news is we're restocking the shelves, and they were going to order. And then the conversation evolved into, well, I've got some ideas for you, Nick. And I'm talking to one of the owners of this big company. And I don't know how big the company is, but they've been in business since 2012. If you're in the supplement space with dozens and dozens of products, they're on the shelf with all the big brands, because from what I gather, they are a big brand. I think they're going to become a bigger brand. I think there's some collaboration happening because I've got some ideas for them. What's interesting that they've done brilliantly is, and their two flavors right now are pink lemonade and pineapple. I love pineapple. I don't know about you. I just love pineapple. That's maybe one flavor I never did have with the other company. I don't know. I think we had like a blackberry pineapple, but it wasn't pineapple. So I was excited to get this. And I don't know if Nick said, hey, have you tried our essential amino acids and electrolyte blend? And I was like, no, but that makes sense. EAAs are different than BCAAs. EAAs stands for essential amino acids. Those are the ones that are specifically important that you must get from supplements and or food that are significant in muscle making. So, hey, count me in. I had a product with the other company that was an electrolyte. Hey, if you've got an electrolyte product that's also got the muscle making amino acids, tell me about it.
Why can't he sit still? His legs this entire time have just been, Rob, why can't you sit still? Are you okay? A little too much caffeine?
Well, they do, and they pair the flavors. So every morning, people that watch our rad show, Danielle and I, that watch our rad show, we'll do a scoop of what we call our Quench EAAs, pineapple, and our Keto Vita ketones, one scoop in water. Y'all, it makes a measurable difference. A measurable difference. So much so that we ran out of ketones. The company had sold out of ketones because we started telling people about it, and everyone started buying it because it was a fraction of the cost. And I would imagine it was a lot of people that had never drank ketones. It was people that had drank more expensive ketones that were looking for more cost-effective ketones. But we didn't really go solicit anybody. We just told people that asked, yeah, this is what we're doing now. And so they sold out. Best news is they're back in stock. Even better news is I've created a relationship with the owner of this big nutrition company that hadn't been selling any ketones, that's now excited to create new flavor profiles with ketones. So all of that to say, we're fascinated by the story and how things just kind of happen when they're supposed to happen. This is just a positive message. Hey, a lot of people ask me about ketones. So now I'm going to get back into the ketone education space because I believe they make a measurable difference and they create compliance in our customers. Sorry, I
have no idea what happened there.
Phone rang. They create compliance in our customers. They create compliance in or compliance with our clients. They help people stick to the Radway way of doing things because they matter and make a difference. So if you're someone that you're thinking brain fog, need appetite control, muscle preservation protection, I told people for the last decade, one of the greatest benefits of this product, one of the greatest benefits of these two products isn't even a physical feeling. And I mean that. That sounds like a sales pitch, but
because it is a sales pitch. And you said the same thing about Pruvit's ketones. And when I said just a few minutes ago, he's using the same manipulation tactics, here we are. If you're suffering from brain fog and this and that, he said the same thing with Pruvit's ketones. And Pruvit's ketones have not been scientifically proven, prove it, get it? See what I did there? Anyways, there's no scientific data that shows that Pruvit's ketones does what the reps claim that they do. What he claimed Pruvit's ketones do.
Something that you don't physically feel, i.e. muscle preservation, is one of the greatest benefits of these two products. And so we're excited to be able to share it with people. We're excited. We're not trying to share the whole profile of products. We're not trying to again, this isn't an opportunity. It's not network marketing. And boy, it's kind of refreshing and nice to be at a space and a place where you can just share something openly and people don't have that judgy feel. And here's why. There's not this significant markup to pay through a network marketing compensation plan. Like, have you ever heard someone say, well, it's just different. Like, prices are all the same, but the main companies, they just take all their advertising dollars and they put it into a comp plan and they pay people. I would argue, yes, that sounds good because it's the same message that I always said, but there is quite a markup with these direct sales companies, these network marketing companies. And as evidenced, we found a product that's a fraction of the cost that has been equally effective. Now, I'm not here to debate ingredients. I'm not here to debate labels. I'm not here. We can, but that's not what drives me. What drives me.
Oh, please, Rob, please debate the proprietary blend included on this company's product. Please debate it. Please start with how much of each ingredient within that blend there is. Oh, you can't because it's a proprietary blend. And to be clear, I'm not talking about Pruvit. I'm talking about this other supplement company that he's an affiliate for. So I find it interesting that he's like, oh, I'm not here to debate it. I mean, we can. Okay, start with a proprietary blend. Start there.
Is the past decade of education and information that I've sorted through, and I've come to the conclusion this product is as good as anything that I've used, and we're excited to share that with people who are looking for the same. So
Rob, you're admitting the MLM markup was wild now that you're not earning from it. How convenient. And then you hit us with, my wife was on the struggle bus without ketones. Are you kidding me? That's not wellness. That's dependency marketing. You're saying your wife couldn't function without this product, and you think that that's a compelling testimonial? If your product is required for your clients or your spouse to feel normal, that's a red flag. That's not a flex.
That's our story. I'm sticking to it. If you guys have any questions, any controversial questions, any buts, I'd be happy to address them. In fact, I love to address them.
Let me just say, he'd be happy to address them as long as you're going to play by his rules. Because the second you don't play by his rules, he's going to block you. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes.
I love science. I love truth. I love transparency. I love pulling back the curtain and, so that's why. Okay, awesome. So I'm saving, awesome. This is why. I'm happy for all of that. So this is hopefully a positive message because we can help a lot of people. But it's also just a response to say, hey, for people that are looking to get in better shape.
I'm going to pause him. You love transparency, Rob? Well, then let's be transparent. You created the 60-hour keto reboot with Pruvit, a fast, not based on research, but because it sounded good. You sold it like it was clinical, knowing people would trust your authority within that company, and you profited. Didn't he say in the previous video, I don't recall, maybe you guys do, that he would get a percentage of every keto reboot sold, and he was a distributor in the company and had a team, so he was like double dipping, maybe triple dipping, I don't know. You said this is an MLM while your spouse is still in one. You said this isn't about money while dropping affiliate links and recruiting your audience. You said this is science while comparing flavored drink packets based on taste. And let's also not forget the most transparent fact of all, you were sued by the SEC, public record, investment fraud, securities violations. So maybe sit this one out when it comes to truth and transparency, my guy. Might be a good idea.
We can help you. We're going to start doing live coaching here.
Wonderful. Can't wait for that. I'll make sure I download those too.
Mostly in our community. We'll provide some free coaching, but I will just tell you, there's so much misinformation out there about drinkable ketones. They don't cause you to become a fat burner. Carbs aren't bad. I've created this whole profile.
Agreed.
Carbs won't make you fat. High fat won't make you skinny. Protein should be a priority. Calories always count. Context is key. The context is key for me is, what is the truth? Why should someone drink ketones? Well, it's not because they turn you into a fat burner. That's false, misleading, bad information. Stay away from people that are making that claim to you for the purpose of making a sale. But get the facts. I'm here to tell you, my wife was on the struggle bus when we
Here's the struggle bus part. I spoke a little too soon. My apologies.
ran out of this brand of ketones. And we just got this probably a couple days ago because we sold out the company just as affiliates. And now the company's excited. We're excited. And again, this is a big company. This is just one little product. So they're not like, oh, great. Coach Rob showed up with his wife, Danielle. That's not at all what we're saying. But what we are saying is these guys believe in a product they have that wasn't moving off the shelves. And now we're starting to share it with people, and we're sharing it with you. So with that, y'all, drop in the comments, whatever. If you've tried these, let us know.
I think you got another phone call or something.
What you think. I see Polly, you said I love these ketones, great product.
Okay, I'm done with you, Rob. Absolutely done. Absolutely done. And since you brought it up, yeah, Rob, you told me in a message, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, I don't remember, to refer to you as that guy with your entire chest in a voice message. Wild. Like that would soften the blow or control the narrative. But here's the thing. You're not just that guy. You're the guy. It's not a compliment. Wait for it, Rob. You are the blueprint for this entire MLM influencer affiliate rebrand pipeline. The one who tried to silence me in that very DM. The one who blocked me when I didn't play along or play by your nice little rules. The one who rebranded exploitation as inspiration and hoped nobody would notice. And honestly, it really makes me wonder what your ex or exes might say about you wanting to be called that guy, because from what I've heard, they've got some stories. Oh, wait. Some of them have already reached out. And no, I'm not going to be sharing all of that here. But I will say this. Don't believe everything someone shows you on social media. The curated couple, the polished truth teller act, the redemption narrative. Sometimes an ex had to flee in the middle of the night, and it sounds like they might have had a darn good reason. So while Rob tries to rewrite the past, let me be the example of what actual accountability looks like. I was in Pruvit too. I sold the drinks. I shared the hype. I bought into the system. But when I left, I didn't pretend it never happened. I owned it. I listened. I learned. I spoke out for the people still trying to recover from what we helped sell. I apologized to the people that I hurt, because real growth does not come with a discount code. It comes with truth, receipts, and a whole lot of unlearning. So yeah, Rob, you're that guy. The one who handed me even more content and continues to do so. And I'll keep making the videos you clearly don't want to see, because over here, we don't delete the truth. We download it.